Roberts turned the game around basically with
fantastic. Yeah,
that break up the middle. There was nothing else like it in the game, was there? There was a lot of skill in the game with chips to the corner, like you say, diving finishes, the odd pirouette. James Simpson did a wonderful stop, restart pirouette to score one of his tries. But the where he went through, he just went through the middle of them. Just like basically, if you watch the Will Price try, this was as good as that in terms of cutting up the middle of the team and then pacing away at the end, but without the ridiculous celebration on the end. So that was fantastic. And I think he was incredibly unlucky to finish on the losing side. But then, you know, they had 3 hat-trick scorers on the Rhinos side, and to pick between them all was hard. I thought, you know, Nathan Collins got picked as player of the match, but on the broadcast, but I thought Ewan Clibbens was a bit unlucky because he seemed to be everywhere all the time. And if anyone had put the body on the line consistently throughout that match, not that they all hadn't, it was him. He was outstanding.
Yeah, I just gave it to Collins as well, though. I thought his kicking in the first 20, where Leeds really kind of built the pressure on Leyland, I think that was what kind of told and got them that early start. And I'd probably just edged it towards him, but you could have given it to any one of them, I think, and I don't think there could have been too much complaints.
Yeah, and I suppose he was heavily involved in wrestling it back once Leyland had taken the lead, which was probably a surprise, really, but against a side that ultimately won the treble in the Rhinos this year in the wheelchair game. It's so exciting, and it is so rugby league, isn't it? I think that's the thing that's amazing about it. And I talked about this a few weeks ago when the Paralympics was on, and as you know, as impressive as athletes they are in wheelchair rugby in the Paralympics, it's not fucking rugby. It's not. Whereas this is rugby league, absolutely. And hats off to everyone involved. And I thought the coverage was fantastic. I'm not normally one to like to praise people who play for St. Helens, but I do think, oh my God, his name's gone out of my head. The Cumbrian prop forward, Kyle Amor. I think he was impressive in how he clearly prepped.
Yeah.
And it meant that he could be it meant that he could add something to the broadcast other than just analysis. He took his role seriously. There was nothing. Because of that, there was no patronising element to what he was doing here, because he'd taken it seriously and was delivering. And I thought, you know, Mark Wilson has done a few wheelchair games on the BBC as well this year and stuff, and he's and on the R League bits and pieces too. So, you know, he knows what he's talking about this game now as well. And I thought the whole presentation of it all, with the lights went out in the arena, just like they did at the men's grand final last year. And they had the light show and all the players came out getting in the spotlight. I thought the whole presentation, it was fantastic and a real step forward for the wheelchair game.
It seemed to me, what struck me, I think, was how accessible it is as a rugby league fan to be able to watch it. 20 minutes in, I was disputing referee calls. I got shouted at for shouting at the TV for a game that I had no attachment to at all in terms of teams participating. And you know, if I'm honest, I probably only watched it because I knew that I'd be on here and I'd recorded it, and I thought I'll stick it on and see what it's about. And I'm so glad I did, because straight away after I was looking at, you know, where are the World Cup games likely to be next year, because I'd really like to get down and watch some of that in person. So if you've never watched a game before, try and catch some highlights or catch this back if it's on Catch Up Anywhere, because I think you'll be seriously impressed and probably left like me with a bit of an appetite to get down and see something live in future.
That's right. Well, there's the 2 internationals in November down in Medway where this game was played. The World Cup was scheduled to be played at England's group in Medway down in Kent, and the other group, which I think had Wales and France in it. So quite an exciting group, actually. That's scheduled to have been played in Sheffield, where the Challenge Cup final was played this year. So So I'd got tickets to the games in Sheffield, so hopefully that won't change too much, and it'll still fit in with when I can get to them. So yeah.
I think the semis is a double header at Sheffield as well.
And the final was originally scheduled to be at Liverpool, the arena at Liverpool, the night before the men's and women's grand final at Old Trafford. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah. Okay, into the Women's Super League. The final playoff placings were decided. St Helens hammered Wigan 52-0. It was competitive-ish for the first 20 minutes or so, but then Saints' superior quality this season showed in that. And it was York 28, Castleford 14. That means that Saints took the League Leaders' Shield despite losing more games than Leeds did over this. I don't know how it works. I don't understand. But anyway, Saints and Leeds go into the top two places. Saints will play Castleford, who finished fourth. York will play Leeds in the other semi-final next week. In the Championship, it was the final round 22. Newcastle 12, Toulouse 82. So Toulouse put on over a point a minute to celebrate their title. Bradford 22, Whitehaven 36, Dewsbury 21, Oldham 14, Featherstone 78, so not quite a point a minute, Sheffield 10, Halifax 10, Batley 12, in one of the more almost consequential games of the round. Swinton 16, Widnes 26. I think we can't let this game pass without mentioning the sad death at the age of 23 of Liam Walsh, the former Widnes Academy product. So obviously, condolences and thoughts and all of that with Liam's family at this sad time, and that's a real sad thing. 23 is not an age to be talking about someone dying at. So yeah, all the best to his family there. And then I don't know why I've written Leeds. York 22, Leeds 22. Is York 32, London Broncos 22. I don't know what I've had a nightmare there on that one. I don't know if you caught any of the Championship action this weekend to sort of mention on any of it.
I didn't, and I think my only comment on it is that it's a shame that I didn't, because I wanted to, and the games were on. There was quite a few games on our league. I know we've not got to the League One games yet, but they were both shown. I think the playoff matches. There doesn't seem a way of kind of catching up, at least in the near time. I think if you wait a bit longer, I think they stick up some recordings after a few days or a week or so. I think that the RFL's missing a trick there. I think they're trying to push our league. If they want it to be a better platform for people to watch things on, I think they need more like a real-time ability to kind of watch matches there. So yeah, hopefully they can sort something out on that for next season.
I think if you go into like the videos part, you can get like a full match replay on there. So actually, interestingly, we didn't talk about it because I didn't catch what happened in it, but the Championship wheelchair grand final, which featured Warrington and Hereford Harriers, is up there as a full match replay. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't always seem like they're immediately there. Sort of jumping out at the front of the page when you go onto it, you have to scroll down a little bit to find them. The headline news from the final standings is Whitehaven. Whitehaven's win combined with London's defeat sees the Cumbrian side take the final playoff spot, and I think it's absolutely remarkable run to close out the season for Whitehaven. They've had wins over Bradford, Halifax, and Batley, the three teams immediately above them in the table in this run-in. Which has been remarkable, to be honest. To go from being they were in the League One 2 years ago. They were one of the worst teams in the early curtailed Championship last season, and this season they've managed to fight their way into the top six. So really impressive. The final standings in full are Toulouse on 100% at the top of the table, Featherstone on 90% a second. Halifax finished third on points difference percentage ahead of Batley. So if Batley could have put that winning margin out to a bit more than 2 points, then they might have overtaken them into that third spot. 61.91% win percentage each of them. Bradford fell to fifth on the final day, ending on 60%. Whitehaven still sixth place with 57% ahead of London, who ended on 53%. Widnes were eighth, York ninth, Dewsbury 10th, Newcastle 11th, Sheffield 12th, then Oldham in 13th, and Swinton bottom will be the teams that we assume will be relegated. League One promotion playoffs. You mentioned these briefly, that these were both on the R League app. The Saturday evening game, which I did catch a little bit of, but not all of. North Wales 14, Keighley 28. But someone who did catch it all was our friend Mark Butler. He got a fan review in, Neil.
He did. He said, bruising encounter in Colwyn Bay. Crusaders will have been bewildered to have found themselves 14-0 down after half an hour, having been held up in goal 3 times in an end-to-end first half. Assisted by a yellow card, Crusaders did tie the scores in the second half, but from that point, it was all Keighley. They turned the screw over 10 to 15 minutes, and 2 crash ball tries did the job. And
that was the qualifying playoff, so North Wales get to go again, but in the elimination playoff, Doncaster beat Hunslet 31 points to 10, so that's Hunslet's year done, and Doncaster progress to next week. It was the second week of the NRL playoffs. One very blowout result and one very close result. The Sea Eagles 42, the Roosters 6, an absolute hammering for the Roosters there, the hands of the Sea Eagles. And in the other match, it was the Panthers 8, the Eels 6. We did get a fan viewing on this one.
David Hunter said, so proud of the effort tonight. A tough game to lose, but they showed they can compete at that level. Now it has to be Warrington's year just to get me through this year with something.
Did you watch either of those games?
No, I'm in the NRL abstention camp for shafting the World Cup.
Good stuff. Good to hear. We did get something in on another game. I think this game was played the week before, but it's perfectly reasonable to cover it. It was on our league, so one you might be able to find to watch. The England Community Lions under-20s against Scotland under-20s, and Alex from Scotland, aka @LeagueChandler on Twitter, has given us the Scottish perspective on this game, which finished 48 points to 22 to the England Community Lions. So what did Alex have to say?
He said Scotland got off to the better start, going 0-10 up, dominating the first 20 minutes. England hit back with 4 unconverted tries to put them 16-10 up going into half-time. Scotland kept in the game right until the final quarter, when the expanded England bench and the extra experience became a difference. Mason Cullen of Edinburgh Eagles, the Scottish player in a marching press with 2 tries and a great effort in defence. And it is on our league. I've just pulled it up, but the North Wales Keighley game is up, but not the Doncaster Hunslet match. It seems to be that there's a 2 or 3 day delay on them getting the videos up.
Yeah,
which isn't helpful for anyone wanting to watch before recording a podcast on a Monday night, I guess.
I mean, over the years, I've been told by the likes of Barry McDermott that I watch too much rugby league. So great stuff, though. I hope you'll appreciate we've covered all levels of rugby league there in talking about those matches. We're now going to move on to our guesses as the playoffs start in Super League. Predictions time. Super League playoffs week 1 starts on Thursday night, 7:45 p.m. kickoff on Sky for Wigan versus Leeds, 4th versus 5th. I'm going to give you the honours of going first, Neil.
Okay. Are you going to go first on the Warrington game, then?
No, you can go first on that one too.
I think you probably know where I'm going with this. I think I nailed my colours to the mast a bit earlier, really. I think this is going to be a low-scoring affair, Wigan by 2-4. I think Leeds will be bolstered if they've got a couple back to kind of beef up that pack a bit more. I think we're just going to grind it out now. I mean, when you can fit your highlights of a game in less than 90 seconds like they could in the Catalan match, then I think you've got the template for what we're going to try and do now for the rest of the season. And I think they'll have a couple of scores in them, and I think they'll be able to keep Leeds to 1 or possibly nothing. yeah, I think they'll keep Leeds to single figures, and I think they'll have just enough at the other end of the field